Good morning. Day 222. Cooking down the refrigerator, freezer, and working pantry meals. It's a challenge, but it's going well. I think somebody goes shopping for me at night and sticks more food in there. I think it's the elves. Anyway, lots of projects to choose from today. I can choose to clean or declutter, or I still haven't set up my city picker boxes, or I could decoupage my cabinet, or the list goes on and on. It's never ending. Oh well, it keeps me busy, and actually I enjoy keeping busy. I don't know what I'd do with myself if all I had to do was sit around all day, because that can get pretty boring after a while. But I do like to take days where I don't do much of anything. I enjoy that too. But a steady diet of that would not be so good for me. Anyway, I need to use up some of that roast beef seitan. So I'm thinking that's probably what I'll have for breakfast this morning. Same thing that I had yesterday. And today is going to be a beautiful 84 degrees. No rain in the forecast, but we do have one day this week where it's supposed to rain. I can't remember a nicer summer here in Ohio. It got off to a slow start. It was pretty cold the beginning of the summer, but it's been just beautiful. For the most part, we've had some days in the 90s, but for the most part, it's been mid-80s, which is just perfect. So I can't complain, and the flowers are loving it. I can't remember ever having such beautiful flowers. I mean, I always have nice flowers, but these are just exceptionally nice. So I'm looking forward to this cup of coffee, and I have to be careful with drinking too much coffee. I used to drink coffee all day long, literally, but I can't do that anymore because it gives me reflux, which is no fun. So I have to be careful. But anyway, I think I'd like to set up those city picker boxes, but my plans often go awry because I go with what I feel like doing. And I know I should do with what needs to be done, but that kind of gets shoved to the back burner, and then I go with what I feel like doing. So, right or wrong, I've done that for 71 years, and almost 72. My birthday is coming up in September, and everybody remembers my birthday because it's 911. So, yep, that's what was happening on my birthday back in what year was that? 2000, I forget. But anyway, not a good day that day. But because of that, everybody remembers my birthday. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my coffee now and sit here and ponder on the tasks that I want to get done for today. All right, I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see what's for breakfast. Day 222. I could change my mind on that one too. Well, I have another project in mind for my kitchen. I tore out some napkins, and I want to decoupage these onto this cabinet, but I'm going to do like a tannish brown wash over it so it's not so bright in your face. I put 2 new knobs on there that I picked up from Home Depot, And this was a very modern looking cabinet at one time. And I had a guy paint it to sort of match this cabinet. It doesn't match exactly. It's a little bit too light there. This part is pretty good. So I'm going to go over that with a little bit of brown wash when I do this. But I really like this cabinet. It's got an old world feel, and it came with these decals on there. So I want to make this one look more like that. So that's a project that I have going. And then I took some more napkins, and I think I'm going to decoupage these grape things onto these mason jars. And that's part of my open shelving. I think that'll look good. So I've got those two projects in mind. Always a project with this one. Okay, I have some white glue that I got at Dollar Tree. Now this is washable. It says it dries fast and it dries clear. So you want to glue that dries clear. Now I'm not an expert. I watched a couple tutorials on this. So I want to decoupage my little cabinet there, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I need to water this glue down a little bit. So like I said, I'm no expert for sure. So I think I need to water this down, but I'm not sure how much water I'm going to put in there. So this is like this much out of the bottle. So I'm just going to water this down until it's a consistency that I think is good. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm guessing this is good. It's just a runny glue now. I don't really think it's that critical that you have to have exact measurements. I did about 1/3 water to the glue. Alright, well I'm going to take you over here to my cabinet, and let's see if I can get this all focused up here. Alright. Okay, I think that's good. Now I've never done this before. So here's the napkin that I took. And this napkin has 3 layers. And what you want to do is just separate all the layers until all you have left is this top layer. And then what I did was I just tore around the picture that I wanted. And I was watching one tutorial and they took a small brush and just took some water and went however they wanted to go, and then they just pulled the napkin pieces off. I don't know. You have to try it a little bit, but anyhow, going in. I just have a little tiny piece of tape here. And you also need a plastic bag. And I just have just a bag, or you can use saran wrap or something like that, anything that doesn't stick. I just cut the handles off this so they're not in the way. Alright, don't be afraid to try new things, you know. Sometimes you just gotta do it. So I'm going to paint on this a good layer of this glue. Make sure I get enough of it on there. think that's good. But like I said, this is a first for me. I'm just trying it. See if it works. If not, well, then not. Okay, now you got one good chance to get this on there. Now, it's probably going to have some wrinkles and things in it, but I think it adds to the character. So I'm just going to plop that on there. Then I'm going to take the bag and I'm just going to dab it. Dab, dab, dab. Make sure you get all the edges. And like I said, for me, I don't mind if it's got some little air bubbles and stuff in it. Well, actually, I like the way that's kind of happening there with the color change. I need more glue there. I'm going to dab some glue on top anyway. I think I like the wrinkles and the little bit of the air bubbles because I think it gives it character. But that's just my opinion. You can fool with this. Now it's wet, so you kind of have to be careful with it. And now this is going to smooth it out more. And don't worry, because the glue dries clear. Be careful taking it off. But I think that's going to look good. I'm just going to take this. I don't want these little snots from the glue, so I'm just going to smooth that out just a little bit. So there we go with that part, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more. And if I need more glue, then I'll just mix up more glue. Alright, I'm going to take a paper towel and just sort of get some of these runny bits off there. Alright, okay, on to number 2. And if you ruin your napkin, it's no big deal. You can always get another napkin. So if it's a napkin you like, buy more than one. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm even pretty happy with the color. But you're going to go over this with some varnish. So not to worry, it'll become waterproof eventually. So put enough glue on, and if it runs, you can always wipe it with a paper towel. Because it looks like this needs to be kind of wet in order to get it to stick right. So don't be afraid to try new things. I mean, that's what makes life exciting. I think I need a little more. Down a little further. And I just have a cheap brush here. You can use any brush. Now I need to make it a little wider. You can kind of eyeball how much glue you need. Better to put more on than not enough, I think. Okay, here we go, number 2. And back with my paper bag. And just tap it on. This seems like it's pretty forgiving. And while it's still wet, if you ruin it, you can pull it off and put a new one on. Okay. Just going to dab over this a little bit in the areas where I feel there's not enough glue. All right. And you can smooth this out a little bit. You don't want to manipulate it too much. But I hope you can hear me because I know I'm mumbling. But this is how you can get out the air bubbles. Just gently, gently. And if you like it really smooth, I guess you have to play with it. But just be gentle because this paper will rip. Okay. So that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to keep an eye on this and keep wiping the glue snots off. Sorry if you're offended by that word, but I can't think of a better way to describe them. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to do the other side. And then I like the color. I think the color is great. Just the way it goes through. You can smooth out the rest of it as much as you want. Okay, well, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think you like it or you don't like it? Any suggestions for you DIYers out there? I don't know. I like it. Okay. I want to do that to my jars yet too. But I need to wash those and because they're going to have food in them. All right. Well, I'll be back later. There we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. I offset the pattern a little bit. I didn't want it exactly the same. So I'm going to let this dry now. And then I'm going to go over it with some more glue. You could do this with Mod Podge too, but Mod Podge is expensive. I think I might go over this with Mod Podge. I do have some. Once it dries, after a couple of layers of this cheap glue. But so far so good. I'll have to see what it does when it dries. All right, So there is a project for today, and I still want to go over this part with a little bit darker paint. But like I said, this started off as a very modern cabinet. It was just kind of this blonde color and very straight lines. And the fellow that I had painted, he did all the painting in there. I gave him a door from my other cabinet, and he took it home and painted it, and I think he did a nice job. But it's always kind of bugged me that this is a little too light. So I'll go over, this part is good, but this part I need to tone down a little bit yet. But that's a project for another day. All right, that's it for this project for now. Good morning. Let's have some coffee. Yummy. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, so I just decoupaged my cabinet. This is a RealTime Chat. I just wanted to talk a little bit about not being afraid to try new things. Life can get pretty dull sometimes if you do the same old all the time. And I know there's a certain comfort in that, and we all enjoy that. But to a point, sometimes you have to break out of your comfort zone in order to make life a little more exciting. And that goes not just for crafting things or, trying, if you've never tried a chop saw, give that a try if you have one handy. And I have to do that myself. I bought one years ago and I've never used it because I'm afraid of it, but I need to do that. And I actually bought it because I wanted to learn how to make picture frames, because I paint. I'm a self-taught pretty much artist. Anything I've learned from DVDs or books. I did take painting lessons from a fellow, and I'd like to go back to that, and I did a painting with him. But his style was just totally different than mine. It was very nice, and I did learn a lot. But his style was just totally different. He likes to paint people. He's from Cuba. He's a young fellow. And he likes to paint stylized people. And his skin tones are beautiful. I mean, they're gorgeous. And he'll paint tattoos on people and things like that. And just very nice. I'm more of a landscape painter. I like to paint seascapes and farm scenes and things like that. So, but I did learn a lot from him. But most of the things that I've learned are from online classes and things like that. There's one painter that I really like. His name is Johannes Vloothuis, and he's a Canadian fellow, and he gives online lessons, and I love his style of painting. Of course, there's the infamous Bob Ross that I just adored, and I still enjoy watching his videos. But the two styles are completely different, not even close. So, back to my not being afraid. So, I bought this chop saw with the thought of making frames. And actually, now that I think of it, it would probably be a decent business venture because it's something I could do from home. But I'm not thinking along those lines right now. I'm just thinking for my own personal art, I could put that to good use. So one of these days, this summer hopefully, I'm going to drag that out, and if I do, I'll share it with you. But I've got so many projects in here going on that that may not happen until maybe next year. So getting back to the not being afraid, that goes for relationships too. You know, if you have a relationship that goes south and, you know, oh, I'm never going to do that again. Well, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know, just think about it and say, well, I'm not going to do it that way again. I'm not going to be afraid, but I'm going to try something different. I mean, look at Dyson and Edison and how many failures that they had before they finally were successful. And you're going to have failures too. You're going to have lots of failures. But it's how we learn. That's how I learned the best. I learned the best from the school of hard knocks. And it's not always hard knocks. Sometimes it's just I learn from my mistakes, and you build on what went wrong, and next time you try something different and it works, and then you build on that. And it's like that for everything in life, whether it's gardening. You know, the first time you do plants, they might really not even come up, or they may dry up, or, you know, but again, it's a learning experience. Try it again. You know, maybe there wasn't enough light. You got stretchy, leggy starts, you know, so give them a little more light, or you gave them too much water and they rotted, or you didn't give them enough water and they dried out. But nobody, at least unless you're a savant, most people were not born a master. You know, it's a learning process. Everything is, no matter what it is, whether it's your health, whether it's relationships, whether it's crafts you want to do, gardening you want to do, driving, anything is a learned experience. And most of us are not lucky enough to go in there first time and have it be perfect. Sometimes that happens, and that's really good, because then you go, oh, I'm so good at that, you know, I can do things. Right, buddy? This is my friend. Say hello to the people. They like you. Yes, they do. Say hello to the people. He's such a good boy. Anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and not to be discouraged. You know, if your house is a mess and it's like, oh God, I'm never going to get this cleaned up, just start somewhere and build on okay, I cleaned up this corner, or I washed this part of the floor. And I know from experience how difficult it can be sometimes. And if you're not in the physical place right at the moment to do it, then give it a little time. You know, even if, bless you, even if you only can do it for 5 minutes, maybe next time you can do it for 6 minutes. Oh dear, somebody has an issue here. But don't give up. Just don't give up. Just keep trying something different. If plan A doesn't work, go to plan B or C or D, or go through the whole alphabet if you need to. But eventually it'll get easier. Everything is hard before it is easy. I don't know who said that, but whoever said it was brilliant, because it's true. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And sometimes I have to have these pep talks with myself. So not only am I having a pep talk with you, I'm having a pep talk with myself. So I hope you're enjoying your coffee, and I hope your day is going to go well. I'm going to get ready and have some breakfast now in a few minutes. Well, you guys know it's actually brunch. So I come up with some pretty weird things to eat for breakfast, but that's what I like to do. I'm not a cereal person so much. Every once in a while, if I have a nice banana, then I do enjoy a cold bowl of cereal, but usually not. So anyway, I'm going to get on with it, and I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see what's for breakfast, day 222. Right, I'm here by my stove. I didn't want this video to get too long, so I just made my brunch, and it's pretty much the same thing that I had yesterday. I finished up the sourdough, so that's a little less bread. Now I don't have that much bread left in the refrigerator anymore. I do have some buns, but I do have sausages and burger patties that I'll use those with. And I just freshen those up in the microwave, and it works just fine. You can freshen it in the microwave and then put a little butter on it and toast it, and they turn out pretty well. So my last two pieces of sourdough, and I did the Violife cream cheese again, the tofurkey roast beef seitan, and just an apple that I got in one of my reduced produce boxes. If you have a Meyer or a Giant Eagle in your area, check and see, they might have the reduced produce boxes. It's a great deal, and I've just been getting those. And I don't mind when they already have predetermined things in there. I just plan my meals around what's in the box. So anyway, here it is. Here is my brunch, day 222, and I really like this with the thin sliced cucumber on it. All right, I'll be back with dinner. This afternoon I'm painting these little cubbies. Here's the original color, and I'm muting them down, and I'm using some of this plaid country tan. There we go. Craft paint. And I'm using a little water with it to thin it down because I want a little bit of the wood grain to show through. So I'm going to let these dry. And over here, I filled the gaps with some putty, and I'm letting that dry. And when that's dry, I'm going to sand it, and then I'm going to spray paint this black with black chalkboard paint because I want it to look like that, or at least similar. The color might not be exact, but close enough. It's way better than what it was. And then over here, my decoupage is drying. I think it's dry now. I'm going to put another layer of the glue over it, and then let that dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to put a final layer of Mod Podge over it as a sealant. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon. Just passing the time, doing some crafts. And this won't take too long. I'm going to spray paint this rather than brush paint it. I think it'll just be easier. So yes, my kitchen table's a mess again, but that's okay because I'm a working kind of gal here. All right, I'll be back in a little bit with dinner. Okay, for my dinner tonight, I cooked up these veggies the other day. It's mushrooms, zucchini. There's some green beans in there. I had them cooked separately, but I just combined them all into one now. So I still have quite a few left, and I want to eat those up. So those are going back in the fridge for now. But for dinner tonight, I'm having that baked potato that I got in my veggie box. And that was actually a microwave potato. They had it covered in a plastic wrap. So I don't know if it'll be good or not. I've got the green beans and mixed vegetables, and here I have some Gardein fish fillets. So that's going to be my dinner tonight. And instead of tartar sauce, I'm just going to have some of this garlic aioli with the fish, not fish, faux fish, whatever you want to call it. And then on my baked potato, I like ranch dressing. So I'm going to put some butter, a nice pat of butter, and this is vegan butter. Use whatever butter you like. Sometimes I use regular butter, sometimes I use vegan butter, it depends. The vegan butter is pretty expensive. But I do use it sometimes. And then just some salt and pepper. And that's it, an easy dinner this evening. Because I cooked the veggies ahead. The baked potato, like I said, came in my veggie box. That needed to be used up. And the fish fillets came from my freezer at my mom's house. All right. So there is dinner. Day 222. And that's all I have for you today. I hope my little cubbies turn out all right. I have to put a couple more layers of paint on there to sort of glaze them a little bit. I think they'll be fine. They may not match exactly, but that's all right. As long as it sort of blends in the whole theme, it'll be good. All right. Well, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And don't be afraid. Take some chances. You'll be fine. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.